All right, so this week I still want to talk about Anne Bradstreet. Anne Bradstreet, Puritan girl, 16 years old, getting married in Europe, and by the time she's 18, she's traveling across the Atlantic to this place called the New World, the colonies, or whatever they want to call it. So we'll get later on the difference between a Puritan and a Pilgrim, and maybe even a separatist. But what I want you to really know about her right now is that her family came over. Her husband. She's from I wouldn't say she's an elite, but they sought to purify the Church of England. So there's kind of getting this wanting religious freedom. They finally just left the country, and now that they're here, can you imagine being 18 years old, no technology, no home, and being here for the first time? I mean, literally having to build your house, for out of whatever that you have, or the woods or something like that. I can't imagine that. So she is a very affluent person. Another reminder too, she was 54 years old when she wrote the poem that you're about to. I'm going to refresh your memory. So that was pretty old. She died I think at an early younger age too. She was 60 maybe when she died. I can't remember what we talked about last week. Okay, so you're going to be working on a Jamboard today, and and then you're going to do something different. But I want you to go through the poem first, and I kind of want to go do a little bit with you, and then I'll let you. I'll stop the video and let you kind of finish it on your own. So if you can go ahead and stop you can get out of my screen. I am going to share a screen for the benefit of people at home who are listening to this later. But go to HR Burning House, and with HR Burning House, what you're going to end up doing is clicking on, here's the link to upon the burning of our house. You'll click on that, and it should take you to a Jamboard. And the Jamboard is pretty self-explanatory for those of you who are new to it. Just a quick thing when it comes up. Once it comes up, here we go. I did put a big arrow there for a reason. On the left-hand side of your screen is a pen tool, an eraser, a select tool, a sticky note, which is kind of cool, and then you save it, and you put a sticky note anywhere on the thing. There we go. So that's my sticky note. You can rotate it, put it wherever it needs to go, but I don't necessarily need a sticky note on it right now, and then I can delete, duplicate, whatever. We're going to be pretty much working with the pen tool and the text selection box. And and I created that arrow just playing around using these guys. So I can probably even add a circle to it if I need to. Here's my circle. And then send that to the back. Send it backward. There. Just being creative, I guess. Not really. I thought I could move it, but line it up just a little bit better. Apparently not. Oh, there's a lag. I'm sorry, I should be playing because we got work to do. All right, so we're going to read through this real quick. Our focus right now is the plain style. Now, Puritans, I probably should just read it to you. Puritans wanted this plain style. They embraced it. It was very important to them. And so the Puritans favored plainness in all things, dress, architecture, design of their churches, in their forms of worship, and in language. And you've seen how Puritans dress. I mean, it's not something you'd go out and run. It's like, yeah, I want to dress just like that. So it's very simple. And we even have, in some of our religions today, you see people walking around very simply dressed, homemade type clothing and things like that. As a matter of fact, there's the Amish are like that. It's not the Amish. There's another group that's kind of like the Amish, but they're here. They're really known for their construction techniques. One of our restaurants in this area, it's actually Craven County, Yoder's. It is owned by a family that practices that form of Christian religion. So it's very, very plain style. They're not Puritans, but anyway. Plain style uses simple sentences and common words, all right, everyday speech, so to speak. Let's see, Latin quotations, the plain style contain few or no classical allusions, meaning things that are inserted there that other people would know about. Latin quotations or elaborate figures of speech. All right, so it's very plain. It's just very to the point. Puritans felt, the plain style Puritans felt was much more effective in revealing God's truth than the ornate style, despite the fact that the style used by Puritan writers now seems hard to read. It was considered simple and direct in the 1600s. Anybody know who, if I say Raiders of the Lost Ark, Indiana Jones, there was a movie, I think it was movie number 2, the Search for the Chalice, the Search for Eternal Life. No, that was number 3. It was number 3. There's 3 in the series. What was really cool, he went into, I should have pulled the scene up. That would have been great to do with this. But he had this scene where him and Sean Connery, the actor, played his father, Indiana Jones, had to choose which chalice Christ would choose. Well, the German said, let me get to here first because I want the eternal life. So he chose a chalice that was very ornate, very decorative, very gold. You know, it's like that's what Christ, that's what God would choose. So he grabbed that and dipped the water and drank it, and he turned into a skeleton and just disappeared and stuff. He died a very horrible death. Obviously not what death would choose. And then because Sean Connery, Indiana Jones' father was shot, they were going to save him. Indy had to make a choice. And which chalice would Christ actually have? Well, Christ was a carpenter. It was a very simple cup that he ended up choosing. A wooden chalice, a wooden cup, not ornate or anything, something nobody would choose. He grabbed that, filled it with water, and it was very poetic. Gave the sip of water to his dad, and his dad lived. So didn't have eternal life, because with eternal life you have to stay there at that point. That's what the knight pretty much was saying. So there's responsibilities come with it, I guess. But that's kind of like what the Puritans thought. You know, God is not going to be showy and ornate, and neither should we. We need to humble ourselves before this mighty king. So that's that's Puritans, pretty much, plain and simple. All right, so although Anne Bradstreet's Upon the Burning of Our House contains some figurative language, it's a good example of the plain style. All right, so make it plain. In the left column of the chart below are 2 descriptions of everyday objects written in an ornate style. Rewrite each description in plain style as a Puritan might have. So what you're going to do, and I've already did the first one for you, you're going to come over here and you're going to click your text box. So we want a text, and you're going to come over and just insert the text box there. All right, so the ornate style, shabby but beloved, my shoes house my feet as they carry me from place to place. Well, it's very poetic, very ornate. That's not what the Puritans would say. They would say maybe something like this, and I kind of did a 21st century spin on it. My favorite shoes are worn, but they work. You know, like worn out or whatever. Or my favorite shoes are old, but they work. Or something like that. That's how you would write it. All right, so what would you write for the pen spills ink blood as it brings words to life? The pen works. All right, sure. Why not? Because we're talking about, they're using figurative language here. Ink is the blood of words that give them life, right? So so let's see. Oh man, I lost my cursor.
How do you get the option to write? I don't see any of that.
Oh, the option to write. All right, so on the left-hand side of the screen, if you go to where it says a T in the text box and click on it, click on that, and then you come over to, and there's a little X, and then you can click again. I just clicked on the wrong thing. So.
I don't even see the T or anything like that.
All right, let me look at you.
Make a copy of it.
Oh, yeah. Take a copy of it. Sorry. Let me go back. I need to do that in the video. All right, so yeah, we just figured out what we did, and I jumped ahead. All right, so if you're on this, that's fine, but you're gonna have to come up to the 3 dots, then make a copy, and that will be your copy. Title it with your name, last name, and then upon the burning of our house. So Smith, copy of burning of our house, and then hit OK. Here's another thing too, while we're up here in this corner, make sure that you share it. And then when the share comes up, I want editing rights. Why did it disappear on me? There it goes. So where it says add people and groups, you're going to add WHITFIR1. There I am. You're going to add me. You're going to unclick the notify people, and then you go hit share. And that makes me an editor, so I can do your thing. That's what we have to do for all our documents. So I'm just going to put done and go back to our doc. And then you should be able to do it. All right. So anyway, the pen spills ink blood as it brings words to life. I was working on the text box. Click on the text and bring it over here. And let's see. The pen writes the words. I guess. All right, so that's just simple. I couldn't remember exactly what you said. I mean, sorry, but I did want to include that. All right, and then when you are, notice that it wrote really large for me. Just stretch out the box. You can put it on one line, and then you're able to come down to the corner, just like I did right there, and you can size it, and it will go right into the box right there. So that's all you have to do. Now I'm going to delete mine because I'm working on the original document, and I don't want you guys to actually to do that. So there we go, delete. Well, that's not deleting. Delete. All right, so once that's done, and that's just an example of how to do some things. Upon the burning of our house is filled with inversions. And inversion sentences are not written in normal word order. For example, Bradstreet writes, I wakened was with thundering noise, instead of I was awakened with a thundering noise, or by a thundering noise. Inversion is often used to make a poem's rhyme scheme work out, or to maintain a fixed meter. Meter is that, like accents, unaccents, things that give it that kind of a beat. All right, so as you read Anne Bradstreet's poem, underline the places you find inversion. Now, we are going to do an inversion exercise at some point, so hang on to that. So if you go to the top, to the next page, let's go straight to the poem. And here follow some verses upon the burning of our house. All I want you to really do is pay attention to the left-hand column. All right, so circle the inversions you find in lines 1 through 4. 1 through 4 is at the very beginning. We already know about I wakened was with thundering noise. Go to the pen tool, select the pen tool. And once you select the pen tool, you should be able to circle. So you just hold that, click and hold your mouse down. I don't know how you would do it with your pen pad, but you probably guys have already figured it out. In Silent Night, When Rest I Took, that's part of it. That's also inversion. In Silent Night, When Rest I Took. And
Circle it or underline it?
Well, the thing says circle. Underline will be fine too. So because there's for sorrow near, I did not look. Those first 3 lines are inverted. Say that again. Oh, the lines that are inverted. So like it says circle the inversions you find. So in Silent Night, When Rest I Took. So I took rest in Silent Night is how it would normally be. So we would circle that or just underline. We already talked about I wakened was with thundering noise. That's inverted as well. So she does that to kind of give it that rhyme, that meter. So you could almost circle the whole thing. I'm going to take my eraser tool because, like I said, I don't want to keep doing the whole thing for people who haven't made copies of it yet. All right, so this is not easy. All right, so then to clarify, what is the speaker doing in lines 11 through 12? And I know I've read it before to you guys, so I'm going to read a little bit now. But in silent night when rest I took, for sorrow near I did not look. I wakened was with thundering noise, and piteous shrieks of dreadful voice. That fearful sound of fire and fire, let no man know is my desire. I started up, the light did spy, and to my God my heart did cry, to strengthen me in my distress, and not to leave me succorless. Then coming out, beheld a space, the flame consumed my dwelling place. All right, so I stopped there just because what is the speaker doing in lines 11 and 12? So line 11, then coming out, beheld a space, the flame consumed my dwelling place. What is she doing? Literally, what is she doing? She's doing what? Yeah, she got out of the house and now she's just looking at it. And I just clicked on something I didn't want to click on. It's this thing. It's probably because I got it so big. So you'll click on the text box and come over and enter that. And she escaped the house, escaped the fire. And now is looking at her burning house. She literally is looking at her burning house. So nothing real fancy. All right, and then I just make sure that you can make it smaller. Go down that corner, and you can make it fit in those lines. You can even pull it across. And if you're watching the video, that's exactly what I just did. Escape the fire now is looking at her burning house. So, and I can even point to it if I want to and just show the pin. Lines 11 and 12, there. So anyway, go through the rest of this, and I'm going to be I'll sit here and do some things, but I'm going to stop the video because I think you guys can have a handle on it now. Go through each page, answering those questions and doing what the directions on the left-hand side, or sometimes the right-hand side, I guess the shadow box, I should say. Follow those directions, and we'll have no problems. All right, thanks a lot.